Our video is on the eruption of Mount St. Helens. On May 18, 1980, at about 8:30 in the morning, the volcano erupted in Washington state. It erupted after a series of earthquakes caused a landslide on the north side. This left magma in the cone of the volcano exposed to a different pressure, which caused the explosion.
The impact on humans from the eruption of Mount St. Helens was that 57 people died. A lot of them died from asphyxiation after inhaling the hot ash. Over 200 homes were destroyed, and people that lived near the eruption suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder for a while after the eruption. They estimated that it was about $1.1 billion worth of damage done, and over 185 miles of roads were damaged, as well as 15 miles of railroads. The biosphere was heavily affected because thousands of animals were killed. Only 14 out of 32 species of small mammals survived the explosion, and the eruption really affected a lot of animals because they lost prey or they were killed themselves, so they couldn't get food or water or coverage because of how much destruction had happened. But researchers were surprised at how many animals did survive in such a lifeless landscape, since hundreds of square miles of land were turned into wastelands. It did not take long for scientists to start finding surviving plants and animals that were located in the blast zone. Trees had survived under the deep snowbanks, and plants sprouted from buried soil where the erosion had thinned the overlaying ash deposits. The atmosphere was affected because due to the volcanic explosion, the dust and plume was everywhere, and it was causing temperatures to drop by up to 46 degrees Fahrenheit in some of the areas in Washington during the day. But in the evening, neighboring states, Montana and Idaho, had temperatures rise up to 46 Fahrenheit during the evening. And so the drastic change in temperature, it didn't last past 48 hours.
Here you can see the before and after of the eruption. In the after picture, you can see that the entire north side of the volcano is gone and all the vegetation is dead. Here are some fun facts about Mount St. Helens. The latitude is 46.2 degrees north and 122.18 degrees west. The elevation is 2,539 meters above sea level. It is a stratovolcano composed of basalt and rhyodacite. Its most recent eruptions are the 1980 eruption and one that lasted from 2004 to 2008, and its threat potential is still considered very high.
Harry Randall Truman was known as a folk hero because he was 83, and in the weeks leading up to the eruption, he refused to vacate the premises after being warned. And so he just went on news channels about how he was going to stay right where he was, and he was very expressive about how he felt just about not leaving and how he needed to stay where he was at. He had 16 cats, and after the eruption on May 18th, his home was hit by the mud and the snow avalanche and completely covered, and his remains were never found. A fireman watched the eruption through the telescope, and he said that when he saw the big slide hit, he knew and he thought to himself that if Harry Randall Truman and his 16 cats were alive in the lodge, they're not anymore. And so this shows us that the attitudes of civilians who live by the volcanoes, it's often that they care too much about their homes. They have a bit of pride, meaning that they don't want to evacuate even when they're being warned that it's unsafe to stay.
Here is where we got all of our information, and thank you so much for watching.